Hello, I am addressing the question of what is being done to address Black homelessness. A couple of years ago, after some data was reviewed, it was determined, uplifted, that there is a huge disparity when you look at the number of Black people that make up the general population in Los Angeles County as opposed to the number of Black people that make up the people experiencing homelessness in our region. Although there's been a long time conversation about systemic racism and other systemic factors leading to many people's current episodes of homelessness, this data review prompted the county, the city, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority to form an ad hoc committee on Black people experiencing homelessness made up of people with lived expertise, people from representing different populations from different sectors, not just the homeless service sector, to come together and really talk about the key factors that have led to and perpetuated the issue of Black homelessness and the huge disparities that we see. And so from that committee, which gathered for a little over a year, there was a formal report and dozens of recommendations that came out of the committee related obviously to some of the efficacy related to housing and homeless services for Black people, the intake and triage process, child welfare, and a variety of other things that is currently in the process of being implemented. And so there will be a link somewhere below that I'll provide where you can access that report and see what the recommendations are. And currently there are work groups that I think I referenced during the panel discussion that are actually moving those recommendations forward. And then the second thing I would say is that in addition to the recommendations coming out of the ad hoc committee, the fact that there is so much attention being paid to racism, racial inequities, disparities, implicit bias, and all these other things, thankfully, many of the contracts or new money that's becoming available even are asking those types of questions of their existing providers or potential providers. What are you doing to address racial equity? How does this program design ensure that disparities are not perpetuated? And so we see the landscape changing where conversations that previously, quite frankly, were uncomfortable are being had, regardless of the fact that they're uncomfortable. And our system as a whole is moving to a place where we can specifically talk about what impacts Black people and some of the direct funding that may need to be provided specifically to target that population, which is not something we could have imagined almost 3 years ago. So we have a long way to go. It didn't take 1 year to get here. It took decades and, quite frankly, well over a century of historical racism and policies for us to get here. But the good news is we're moving in the right direction.